I blew up on TikTok because I was like coming down to Blackrock owns everything. And then I was going through grocery store aisles and look at products and realizing like, fuck, Blackrock owns all these products too. And like, they don't literally, but as I started to get deeper and deeper into better and better answers and like getting into like, oh, the CIA is a big part of understanding the world. And then like, oh, fuck, Mossad is a big part of understanding the world. That's when I started to get strikes on everything, talking about Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that. And that's when I had to branch out. And now I'm hovering at like 2 strikes and none of this kind of stuff goes there.
Question real quick. Who owns BlackRock?
Larry Fink. Actually, BlackRock was founded by 5 Jewish people. You know, they're still all involved.
It's funny, I think they're all on your shirt too on the Epstein map.
Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah, people don't realize how evil BlackRock is. This is the biggest financial company in the world. They're the ones pushing the DIA. They're the ones pushing all the weird stuff, a lot of the gay stuff. Like, how is that in a financial benefit? These are not our friends.
Can you explain ESG because it's the last day of Pride Month?
ESG is in what's the actual acronym stand for?
Environmental,
social governance. Yeah. And the whole point is to incentivize corporations to be more diverse or more woke, essentially, right? And
more gay inclusive, because when you say diverse, you really just mean less white people.
Yeah, more brown inclusive, more whatever. Like to not hire based
Anything
upon
but white people, especially men.
Yeah, and certainly don't hire based on merit. Hire based upon like if
you're a black female.
Yeah.
But they never push us with people. You know, they say equity. Look at Biden's cabinet. It's all Jews, no white people. So equity doesn't apply to Jews. It applies to everyone else.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. I had these debates with, they call themselves the FBAs, the fundamental black Americans. They don't even understand the difference between a Jew and a white person.
Yeah, they don't. It's not the white people that are winning. It's the Jews that get put in all these powerful
positions. It's a different
positions.
ethnicity.
Like, how many white people are in Biden's cabinet? Probably not very many.
Well, you might notice too that like, depending on the situation, Jewish people will either identify as white if it's convenient, or they won't. And it's like, and when I was growing up, I didn't realize any of this stuff, so I would have just assumed, I would have called every Jewish person white because their skin was white. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Well, it's like they have dual citizenship with their ethnicity too, not just their allegiance to countries, but they have dual citizenship with their race. Because Mark Cuban's a like really public financial guy or whatever. That's not his last name. His last name is like Finkelstein or something like that, but he goes Cuban because he lives in Florida. He wants to go undercover as a white Florida guy. You look at Jonah Hill. His real name is Jonah Hill Feldstein. They don't want to be publicized that they're extremely Jewish because then people are like, oh, well, this is why you have these connections. This is why you have all this money. They'd rather go undercover.
Well, it's a conspiracy theory to say that Jewish people run whole industries or that Jewish people would ever work together. So obviously, like, I mean, how could you even say that? That's just a fucking conspiracy theory.
It is crazy how many of them change their names. That's when I started seeing that. Another moment that was a what the fuck moment for me was when someone sent me a list of all the all the white people that write books bashing white people and anti-white, and then showed me they were all Jewish. I'm like, wow.
And then that's pushing abortion and pushing sexual promiscuity, pushing the feminism movement in America, who wrote Friends and these TV shows that, told people to date a lot in their 20s.
Porn, most of the porn.
Almost the whole porn industry. I mean, it's well known in the porn industry that
he wrote he wanted to do it to destroy Christian values and Western, and he wanted to push filth on them.
But now is a good time to circle back around and remember that, like, a lot of Jewish people are actually the greatest allies of the Palestinians. People like Dave Smith, comedian, great guy, like Norman Finkelstein, fucking goat of speaking up for Palestinians.
He's a legend.
And so it's like, it's not just Jewish people. It's like there's this very powerful Jewish mafia that dates back to the Rothschild family and probably before. And they have just infiltrated so many aspects of Jewish culture. And the Jewish people that see that and call it out are like legends. Holy shit, we need them. Right?
Yeah, some of my favorite people are like Glenn Greenwald, Dave Smith. These guys are ballsy. They're calling out. They're being like, it's not anti-Semitism to call it Israel.
And they have so much more on the line.
It's not the Jews. It's this network of mafia. We need to start distinguishing that better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do.
I'm a little confused, Ian, because you said that you're not really conservative. You're kind of center, like liberal leaning. When you seek the truth and you follow the money and you see like how they use, like, you even talk about the CIA. These guys are like doing gay butt sex rituals in order to get power.
Yeah.
When you learn this stuff, how can you not go further right?
Dude, that's what happened to me. I did. So I was raised liberal and I grew up in Washington State.
Same.
And then I swung pretty hard to the right once I just realized how much of that was all lies.
Yeah.
And I think I've swung back left just because, like, I think that I inherently see the need for balance, not in what today's liberalism is, but in the, like for example, yeah, exactly. Like conservatives, like, less regulation, don't fuck with me. But like liberals are like, there's sometimes you need regulation. Like when you have big corporations, you should regulate those bitches. When you have private citizens, no, they should be free as fuck. Like balance.
Yeah, we should ban all lobbying, all corporate PAC money. That's a liberal
Exactly.
stance, but I think
Yep.
that's part of the problem. That's how Israel controls America. That's how Big Pharma controls America. That's how they're fucking us. So I don't call myself liberal conservative, but I guess I lean conservative as well.
And right now, because it used to be when I was young, it was that the let's say the military industrial complex, the Israeli complex, all these, they were using the conservative side of the world to control America. They were buying the conservative side. It's like the George Bush presidency during the Iraq War. And so from growing up in a liberal household, it was easy to look up and be like, the conservatives are controlled, they're bought, they're evil. But they realized at a certain point, somewhere around Obama, that liberal values in a modern world with technology and everything, liberal values are way easier to exploit and more powerful to control people's minds, because you can create these mind viruses for the greater goods.
By appealing to emotion and feelings.
And conservatives are inherently immunized against the greater good, because the whole point is like individual liberty. But the moment you go liberal, it's like, no, we should all work together and band together, and like, you know, welfare as a concept is like, we should all work together and pool our resources in order to uplift those that are less advantaged, which is, you know, a perfectly legitimate idea when done correctly. But if you then take that idea and you apply it to like, well, we're all hurting the climate, and so we should regulate your carbon usage, but not mine, then that will be for the greater good.
They all have private jets, people saying that.
Exactly. And so they switched sides. And so right now, because the power structure is built out of the liberal, you know, power base, I think that's why so many of us are swinging conservative, because we look up and we're like, wow, this liberal shit is bullshit.
Well, for me, I considered myself a new conservative, but then it really switched with the Israel war, because all of a sudden I thought we were anti-war. Boom, we were pro-war instantly and against free speech when it was. I was I'm a free speech absolutist, and I'm anti-war without rare exceptions. And I watched the right and left just switch overnight. That was one of those moments I was like, wow.
Yeah, we realized that the real line was not left and right. The real line was Israel-Palestine, and then left and right.
Yeah, but both sides support Israel. The left does a little bit left, but not really. It's because the people on the left don't. But the politicians still do whatever they ask.
I mean, October 7th helped me realize that mental trap of identifying as right and left, or conservative, or liberal, Republican, Democrat, because then you could easily switch and be pro or anti-war. To me, the only thing that makes sense is putting religion first. I think because that's where, like, you go to what even is conservative values. What does that mean? Because when you have girls come in, like you know, like the nigga girl Lily, she's funny. Like I got to meet her.
She's a nice girl. She got
but at
way
the same
too
time,
much hate, I think.
Is it really conservative to be like drinking a beer and be like, fuck these broke niggas? Like a woman, like shouldn't she be? If that was conservative, she would not be on camera and she'd be cooking for a family at home.
I personally don't really like these right-left narratives. I just like my opinions, what I believe to be true, what I believe to be right. That's this whole left. This paradigm, it makes people jump on one side because their side doesn't. It's so stupid.
Well, it's information warfare 101.
Yeah, every issue we should decide for our own. You shouldn't just be like, my party believes this, I believe that.
Exactly. It's a trap, because you can't trust these people. If you follow the money, they're always going to be swayed by money. You can't blindly follow that. I mean, my family, same thing growing up. They would go to the polls whenever George Bush was running against Kerry, stuff like that. Blue, 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 blue. Why? Because Democrats are good and Republicans are evil. You don't even know any of these people. So I think the only thing that's going to be uncorrupted is faith in God, and then everything stems from there. And if anything changes, if that changes your faith, then you should not follow that.
Yeah, God and what's right. And if you believe in God, you just believe what's right. That's why I see these Christians and they're just selling themselves out.